I ate everything in sight and I felt terrible. And it was, and I think I might have said this on the Champions video too. It was like July. We had to go to, so teachers, still get paid in the summer when they're not working. So they also have a lot of time to spend, a lot of money that they don't have time to spend during the school year. So we were broke, especially because we had just gone on vacation, and it was maybe only a week into our pay period, and I had to go to a convention for my job that I had to pay for, that I was required to go to, but had to pay for my own hotel room and everything. And literally we were like, we were like almost maxed out on credit cards. And I was like, I don't know how we're going to make it to the end of the month. And okay, like I'm never going out about Shakeology ever again. And I messaged my coach. I was like, I need to get back into a challenge group. And then a week, and I went like all in because I'm like, oh, I like gotta lose weight again. And then I literally one day I messaged her and said, this was like at the beginning of July, I'm ready to talk about coaching. And so she was like, awesome. Can we set up a time to talk on the phone tomorrow? And so we talked, and like I say, like the rest is history, except that's just really when it all started. Because like in that moment, I had thought about it so much. I knew that I was going to go all in. All of the fears I had about everything, I knew that if I was going to do this, I was going to do it really well. Like that was the only option. If I'm going to put myself on the line and tell people that I'm doing something, you betcha I am going to do it. And we talked on the phone, and she's like, well, what do you want? And I was already a discount coach at this point. Well, what do you want to, do you want to just earn enough to cover the cost of your Shakeology? And I'm literally thinking like, who the F does that? Why, like I've already been paying for Shakeology. I don't want to make $100 a month. Or do you want to just like make as much as you can? And I was like, yes. I mean, I would love to. And for me, honestly, our minimum credit card payments were, I think, $800 a month. And so that's what I wanted. That's like what kept me up at night. Like when I thought like, oh, life is good, I'm on break. And I lay my head on my pillow, like, what do I have to keep myself up at night and stress about? What am I not doing well at life? And it was always money and how we were going to ever afford a house, how we were ever going to feel stable enough to have children and just like live the life I wanted to live. Like this is not what I did not go to school. And my husband did not go to school for so long for us to live this way. So I decided to go all in, and I said, okay, what do I need to do? So this was like a team cut month because it was August. So in July, in those 2 weeks before that, she said, start posting a message, send an email, send this email to these people, make your first post, make a transformation post. And I did all of those things, and I reached out to people terrified to send messages to people, but I also knew that I had referred other people to her, and people want this. People want what we're doing. People want this in their life. And I'm not even talking about the whole like sisterhood and camaraderie, because I didn't know about that yet. Was lacking that too, but I didn't discover that until later. So I did all those things, and I think I hit like SC21 in those first couple of weeks. Now hitting SC20 in 2 weeks is not like necessarily like a typical behavior of mine, I wish. But I did those things from the beginning, and like, especially like like I said about teachers are really unhappy. They love to complain about other people, but they also love to complain about, and this is just anybody and women. And that's just kind of who is in my daily life all the time when I'm at work. Like they're so quick to complain about somebody, but if they're complaining or they're jealous about somebody, it's because they have something that person wants. So all of these people that were like, oh, did you, like literally rolling their eyes, like, oh, somebody's a Beachbody coach. Oh, that Beachbody coach thing. Like literally reaching out to me, wanting to sign up and doing what I'm doing. So that was like something that I carried with me, especially for the first 6 months in my business, when I was taking a lot of action in a very little amount of time each day. So then we did a team cup, and that's when it was like, okay, now you're going to start doing a tracker every single day because this is what we do on our team cup team. And so I just started doing those things, and I was sitting at SC0 literally, and I didn't even know what that Success Club numbers meant. But I knew it was important to our team. And so I was sitting at 0 until I think the last 3 days of the month. And then I guess I sold 8 challenge packs. So I ended up that second month at SC16. And that was just in the last 3 days of the month. Now it's not like in the last 3 days, I was like, now I'm going to start messaging people and inviting. I was doing that the whole month long. So I always take comfort in knowing that, like, if I'm doing those things every single day and every single week, I'm really more of a, like, I'm going to invite a whole lot of people in these couple of days. Then I'm going to expand my network by a whole lot of people the next couple of days, because I get really like ADD, like super distracted. So I'm better at doing one task for a longer period of time than doing small tasks in short periods of time in like 1 hour. Anyway, but doing those things every day that move my business forward, I always know that that will come back to me, because hard work and putting in the work never, ever, ever goes unrewarded. It's always going to pay off. So then my coach said to me, so actually my coach, and this is what things I do with my coaches, as soon as they start to just run their own challenge groups, I put her in mine. I didn't need to be in hers anymore, because I was like a professional challenger, because I had been doing it for over a year. So I was like ready to go. I knew what I needed to do. And she would say, okay, this person in your group needs to be a coach. This person in your group needs to be a coach. This person, and it was really anyone that was encouraging and anyone that was really just like participating a lot. And so I was like, well, what do I say? And she said, send this message like, hey, have you ever considered coaching? I give them a compliment, why you love what they're doing in the group, and why that would make them a great coach. And this is before I had any, like, no one had really told me no about coaching, because this was the first time I asked. So I went into that pretty fearlessly. And everyone said yes, for the most part, whether it was signing up for the discount or, wanting to, like, I did say to people, like, I would love to run these groups with you. And so that's when I started building my team. So I built it from the start, literally because my coach told me that's what I should do. So I was earning an income right from the start. Like I said, I had spent over a year making excuses about why I couldn't do this. So I wasn't like, that wasn't going to be an option for me to do this and not. But I still tell my team today, like, I don't have time in my day to sit here and think like, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I'm too scared to talk to people. Like, I don't have time for that. And that's not getting me results at all. Now, that's not always to say that I have like the most positive mindset. Like Sundays, I'll be honest with you, Sundays, I'm always really overwhelmed because I've got a mix of the Sunday blues, especially in the second half of the day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much that I want to do. And I want to cook all of my meals, and I want to like spend time with my family. And it's just hard. So not to say that I'm not always super happy, but I always feel better when I'm moving my business forward. If I knock out a power hour, I'm feeling really good because I'm doing my job as a coach by reaching out to people and doing all those things. So I set up, one of the things that helped me start earning an income right from the start was signing up my husband. On our second call with my coach, she said, you need to sign up your spouse. I said, okay. And she said, let's place him here. It'll make sense later. And then sign up your mom. And so I said, Mom, my mom was, my first challenger, of course, and signed her up as a discount coach on the opposite. So like immediate Emerald, literally because my coach told me that I needed to do that. And because I told her my goal was to make the most income that I could. And so I just kept doing those things. So I was building my team right from the start. I was building team cycle bonuses right from the start. My coach told me one day in October, you could really be a diamond coach. And I had made a vision board because my coach, it was like one thing we were doing on our team, like literally my first week as a coach, and I didn't know what anything meant, but I thought that diamond was this like huge, like amazing thing. Like the top coach in the network is a diamond coach. And so I could put that on my vision board. And she's like, you could be a diamond coach. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, you're helping people every month. And you have a team, like that can happen. You can make it happen by like before Thanksgiving. I was like, you think so? And I'm not like a super naive person either, but I like really respond when people pump belief into me. And that's what I always try and do to other people, because I didn't know what I'm capable of. I didn't know how the business works, but I trusted her. And I trusted her to lead me and help guide me through the business. And I didn't have time to be like, I don't know, she may or may not be right. Like she's like proven. But even if she wasn't, and her upline was somebody that was mentoring me, I would have done that as well. And so, she had this very convenient diamond date for me, and there is an incentive to go to a retreat. But I was appropriately placed back when I signed up as a discount coach on her strong leg. And so when I hit diamond, that would make her 5-star qualifying, which is what she was lacking to qualify for elite for the first time that first year. So when she told me that, and this is why I'm like literally speaking to myself right now too. When we have goals for ourselves, I think it's super important, or for our team, like to communicate that with our team. Because had she not told me, she had done so much for me, right? She had helped me lose at this point, like 25 pounds, something like that. And she had helped me start earning an income. Had she not told me what me becoming like a diamond coach was going to mean for our team and for her, I don't know if I would have pushed every single day in November like I was, and sitting down at the computer every single night after work, even though I was really tired and I just wanted to go sit on the couch and watch Real Housewives, because that is what I gave up when I became a coach. And it's 1,000% worth it if I would have done that. So that was like a huge like driving thing for me. Like I wanted to do this for her and for my team, and I knew that it was going to set me up for so much success. And I really, I built my team based off of, I had maybe at this time, 2 or 3 working coaches who were my friends, who I invited to coaching after they were, I invited them they joined a challenge group, and then I invited them to coaching. And because I knew they'd be good at it. And my coach said, send this message to these people that you know. And so, but then I had, discount coaches in there. But then I was pumping that same belief, like, here's what I'm doing. Here's what my coach Raquel is telling me to do. So I was telling that to my other business building coaches. This is what we should be doing. I was mentoring and leading as I was being led. Like I didn't even have my own team page. Like we just said, hey, Raquel is telling me to do this. We should be doing this. We did it together. And that's what made it so fun, and why my business really took off from the start, I think, especially financially. Because by December, 6 months into coaching, I was earning more than what our rent was. In a rent house we could hardly even afford, which we probably should not have even been living in, because we didn't have any business paying $1,600 a month in rent at the time. So because, and this I always tell people, because I started building a team from the start, that is how I got there. And I wasn't saying like, join my team, I'm making a full-time income. I wasn't, but I was sharing the things that were making me really excited. Like I'm really excited to sit down every single night and get to work and talk to people. I'm so excited by these amazing women that I have in my life that I never even knew that I needed or my life was lacking, and sharing that. And that's what attracted people to my business, along with my health and fitness journey. It wasn't, even though I needed the income, I didn't have anything about that to really share at the time. And when I made my first income post, I'm pretty sure my husband had to post it, and then I ran away and didn't look at my phone until the next morning because I was so terrified. But it was one of those things. My coach told me to do this because it was going to be good for my business. So I did it because I wanted to be in a different place in a year than I was. So I was, once the new year hit, a few weeks after, maybe it's 6 weeks after I had hit diamond, I was 2-star qualifying because I had 2 coaches with me that were running with me. And then I've built my team on that. And I've definitely had my months where it's like up and down, and where I've let like life get the best of me, or my mindset hasn't been right. And it's, it's definitely not easy working a full-time job, or I don't have kids. I can't imagine, like, for those of you that are mamas that also work, 50 hours a week, like, I think you are freaking amazing. And I know, like, I know that that's hard. But nobody has time in their day because everybody is busy. Nobody got into this business because they were bored. I think everyone was busy, and no one had time to it when they started when they did. But I always, and I tell myself this, like, don't have time to make excuses, just take action and do it. And so I stick to my tracker. I use TeamZ, but I really like to set more like weekly goals versus daily, because there are some days, like tomorrow night, like tomorrow, I have a work event, and it's actually my husband's, but I don't have any time to sit down for an hour and knock out stuff. It's only little things here and there. Will probably be just follow-ups as they come in. But I work literally an hour and a half to 2 hours max every day, a little bit more on the weekends. I work as much as I can when I can, but I also don't beat myself up and say, like, if I just had more time to work the business, I would hit higher Success Club numbers. Now I'm going full time. I'm leaving teaching after this spring, but and I know, like, okay, I've got to step it up even more. Like, if I'm full time and I'm only hitting the numbers that I am right now, like, that's not cool. I'm not going to be okay with that. But I'm going to be really proud of what I'm doing right now, because I'm doing what I can. And I know that you don't have to be putting in 4 to 6 to 8 hours a day to be earning 5,000 plus a month. As long as the behaviors that you are doing in that small amount of time every day is things that are money-making activities, that move your business forward. And there are plenty of things that I don't get done every day. There are things that I would love to do in my coaching business that I think would be so fun and creative. I want to spend more time doing these things, but I don't have time to do that right now. And so I am just like really focused on bringing or spending my time doing those money-making activities. And like I said at the beginning, like, I don't think I'm anybody like really special. I think that there are tons of people just like me. I never filed for bankruptcy. I haven't lost 100 pounds. There are like things I know, like I hear sometimes people like, oh, my story is not like yours. I'm like, my story is so average. And I think like the things that are like, feel like average and normal, that's what's relatable. And that's the most, like, that's not intimidating for people. Not to say that, like, if you have this amazing story, awesome, you should share it. But if you're somebody like me who just thinks that you're super ordinary, that's awesome, because people aren't going to be intimidated about duplicating what you're doing because they're seeing that they are just like you. And seeing you fit this into your day is hopefully what is inspiring them to get started, especially from the coaching business. Okay, I always talk way longer than I think. Like, I thought that was only like 10 minutes, but it's longer than that. Let me look through the chats. Can you talk about what your business activities look like? Yeah, so I am like like expanding my network. I'm mostly like all in Instagram, but only from the last couple of months. And I think Instagram is super fun. Like, I love doing that. I love connecting with people on it. I think it's so easy to expand your network that way, just by like finding like like-minded, like online boutiques that I shop in and following their followers and things like that. or hashtags, especially like teacher related things. So I'm teaching middle school band. Women that talk about like working a lot, which is something that like I always did and do. Like those are the people that I like connect with the most, like really career driven people. So those are the people that I try and find. And then I am always sending out at least 20 invites a week. It's usually more than that. I'm actually somebody that, I don't know if you've read the book Finish. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. And it's the first thing that I recommend that my challengers read too. That kind of like, actually, it's a little bit the opposite of 10X rule, which I also really liked. But I would set these like really high numbers. Like I'm going to start 20 new conversations a day. This was me in August. And start 20 new conversations a day. Well, when I had been starting like 4, that was a really huge leap. And so if I did 20, I was freaking exhausted and drained after starting those conversations that I was overwhelmed at the thought of doing it the next day. And so I stopped. And that's just like, I was like, I don't want to do that. That's too much. So I actually set a goal of doing smaller numbers, because then when I get to like 4 of 4 or 5 of 5, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. I knock that out so fast, and it's so much easier for me to pick up and go. So I try and increase those numbers. But again, I really like look at what I have like on Sundays, like, okay, what's my schedule like for the week? How many work events do I have? Because I work anywhere between like 60 to 80 hours a week at school. And so I really only have a very short amount of time, and I work a lot of Saturdays. And then, of course, I'm always like talking to my challengers, either about always presenting the coaching opportunity. I'll be honest with you, I don't ask everyone if they want to be a business building coach, because there are some of my challengers that I don't want to be on my team. But I think the discount coach is always a great option for everybody. And one thing I was going to say, I always go, and I always remind myself of this before I go into invite mode. I like got into this initially into coaching to earn an income. And I love helping people get like healthy from home and running challenge groups and helping my team build an income for themselves. But like what excites me the most and what makes me feel really happy, like my two biggest like coaching paychecks or my months were August and January. And those were actually 2 of like my lower, like, I'm not feeling really great about in my business. It was like almost like a down, even though it was like bringing in income. And I felt really good about the money I was making, because that was a reflection of how many people I was helping. What makes me the happiest is when I can help people who my life has been completely transformed by Beachbody and by coaching. And when I can help people do the same, nothing makes me happier than hearing from a challenger, thank you so much. I am so grateful for you. You have like changed my life. I never imagined feeling as amazing as I do in my wedding dress. Thank you so much for making me do this. Or like, I have never dealt with conflict in my life as well as I am right now, or my work and personal life balance. And talking about like coaches now, from reading personal development, or also like me, like I've never had strong female friendships. I used to think that females were all just like super catty, and now I have this and I never knew what it meant in my life. Like that's like my big thing. Like that's what really makes me fulfilled and what I want to pass on and share to other people. So like I remember those conversations before I go into inviting, and that's what I'm offering to, because ultimately like that's my big vision. I want my life and my community and my team to just be filled with so many super like badass women that just feel that this is the most incredible thing, and they want to do life with me and they want to get better. And that's really like my why, or like my bigger vision. And so that's super important for me to like keep at the forefront of my mind when I'm going into talking to people. So that way I don't get that, like, I don't want anyone to, because this is what I don't want in my head. Oh, I don't want anyone to think that I'm just trying to make money off of them, right? Like we've all thought that before, or maybe you have coaches on your team, or maybe that's what's holding you back. But do you think that your coach is just trying to make money off of you? or is your coach trying to help you so that you can be successful for yourself? And so that's why I keep that, vision of what I want. That's what I'm inviting to. I think I need to make a post about that tonight because I haven't dropped in my post for later tonight. But yeah, okay, so that's all I've got. Any other questions?
I do have one question. Sorry, I'm the one who keeps asking questions, but I know we have a lot of coaches on here who are newer. And I'm curious for you, since you've been doing this for 18 months, like what's the one activity if you don't have time to work a lot in a day that you think you should focus on?
Posting. Because no one knows that you don't, if you're posting on social media, to me, that's always like, no one's going to respond to a message if I've never sent it. But people respond to posts. Even, I don't know, I think like when you post, it just shows that like you're open for business. And I always think it's good to like just even have like just to get content up on your page that when you do invite, I don't know, I don't want anyone to ever think like, oh, she's not, oh, I thought about messaging you. Plus you never know when that one, I put up a random post, not a random post, but like yesterday morning's post, it wasn't like, I don't remember what I posted. I wasn't like it wasn't like an invite post. I wasn't like trying to get challengers necessarily from it. It was just more like a little bit like share about me or here's a little peek into my life or something like that. And I had somebody message me like, I've been following you. Like I saw your post this morning and just knew that I needed to reach out. And I'm like, well, gosh, I'm so glad that I made that post, that I wasn't necessarily trying to get people to, reach out to me from, but you never know when that one thing is going to reach somebody. And that a post is going to reach a lot more people than one individual message, which I also know because I've tried this too, that you can't just rely on your posting. Yes, posting shows consistency. And it shows like anyone who's watching you, they're thinking like, I knew that as a coach, I was going to have to post on social media every day. Why? Because my coach was doing it. I'm like, oh, okay, she works for business every single day. Well, thank you guys so much for having me on your call tonight.
Thank you. Any other questions, ladies? I know we have a lot of people on here who are pushing for some pretty big goals here in the next month or 2 months. So thank you for taking time to talk to us tonight, Rachel.
Really how do I come up with content ideas? I have just like the things that I talk about my dogs. I talk about being busy. I try and not glorify busy, but I want people to know that if they're really busy, that they can still do what I'm doing. So that's the only reason I talk about that. I talk about teaching a little bit. I talk about like fashion and things like that. It's more on my Instagram or like in my stories. Again, like I don't talk about any like super amazing creative things. I share about like my personal development a little bit. And then I just kind of post about like how I'm feeling, like how my workout made me feel today, how I feel in, that I'm 35 pounds lighter, or what I'm most excited about to sit down and work today. It's not super original, but I do try and write down a list of things and then make a rough draft of what I'm going to talk about each night in my each Sunday night for the week in my posts. And then I share that with my team too. So a lot of us on our team, we're doing we have like a diamond push going on right now. And we're all, say, oh, if you have your own social media posting plan, that's awesome. If you don't have one, or if you don't have one that's working for you, try following this. And it's also good guidance for new coaches too. It's like, okay, so on Thursday, we're going to talk about what our income is doing for us this week, what our Thursday paycheck, what it means for us. And like, oh, that's so scary, but thank you for making me do this. That sort of thing. Yeah, coming up with a social media plan. I usually do that on Sunday. I'm not married to it, but it's there if I need it. And that way I know that somebody coming to my page is seeing a good balance of things. Also, it depends on what I'm looking at on Instagram. Like if I'm looking to connect with, like, I have 2 different breeds of dogs. Like I posted about my Chewini today. So I use some like Chewini hashtags. And so I'm going to go and connect with some of those people. And so I want to make sure that when I'm connecting with somebody for the first time, that I'm finding through that hashtag, when they go to my page, they'll actually see my Chewini and not just like other things. Yeah, I'll send an example of that to Krista, my social media plan for the week. All right, so that is what I'm going to go do now. I need to knock out some invites and put up a post and follow up with some people and check in with my challengers.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks to everybody for popping on tonight. If nobody has any other questions, we'll end the call. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you, Rachel.
Welcome. Bye.